YouTube doing another dual commentary here. I've got a full match this time, so I'm playing Spirits and I'm up against Scraps. It's a really fun deck, so I thought, it'd be good to just like try something new. I mean, it's boring playing the same stuff over and over again. But anyway, straight into Duel. So I normal summon Nikitama and use Aratama's effect to search. I set, he sets and passes to me. Repeat the process, Nikitama, Aratama, search for another Nikitama. Just all the pluses right now. So right now, my mentality is that, oh, okay, he's just got lots of back row and he's not really reacting to anything I'm doing. He's just letting me plus, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I mean, he's probably playing hands, right? So anyway, I go into Nikitama and Yaksha. I bounce a card just so I can get the play off. Now I go into Dweller. Now this is like my mistake because I shouldn't have just assumed it was a hand, but for some reason I just thought it was a hand because everyone plays hands on DN these days, especially at this kind of like mid to high rating. So anyway, like I attack over with the Dweller and it's like a freaking monk, and oh well, like that's just my Dweller wasted. And at this point I think to myself, well, I mean, it's not too bad because, right, it's a summoner monk, so I'm playing against Infernity, and Dweller's still good against Infernity. So on the end phase, he does Call of the Haunted, and I'm like, what? You don't use this Infernity? So I'm like, okay, I'm playing against some like random deck now. I still do not know what it is. But anyway, so I go back into the whole Nikitama Aratama play, and I search out Nikitama here, and I'm just gonna like keep punching through. And I think I overlay here, I'm not sure. No, I choose to use my pot instead. Try to get some back row. I take the MST, and for some reason I just chose not to set it here because I thought that, like, oh, he knows it's MST, so I don't want my MST to be MST'd on my end phase. I want to keep it for something, just like for like the launcher or the Archfiend Palabyrinth. Because in my mind, I still think I'm playing against Infernity, because like no other like good deck uses Summoner Monk really. So he goes Call of Haunted again, and then he Tribute Summon, and it's Scrap Golem, and I'm like, what are you playing? Wow, he's playing Scraps. It's crazy. So I decide to blow a Deep Prison, just out of luxury, because I've already got one set. So I was like, okay, I might as well just go for it. He just scoops out. My advantage was just way too high. So I'm playing against Scraps. I really don't know what to side. I know a lot of their stuff activates in the graveyard, so I like put in some Maxis and a D-Fissure. Probably should have like put a Soul Drain as well, maybe. I mean, it does kind of stop like your plus from Nikitama, but I mean, Spirits, like, they can play around that stuff quite well. I mean, if it's gonna hurt the other deck more than you, then you might as well do it. Anyway, I opened really poorly here. I don't think the upstarts helped at all. I don't think I drew into anything good, but gotta just like play around it. He seems to have opened pretty well. I mean, he's got his factory, he's got his beast, and he's got 2 back rows, so I'm sure he's pretty pleased with his draws. I upstarted to Aratama, so it's not too bad. I use Aratama's effect to search out Nikitama, and then I'm gonna use my upstart again. Shuffling twice for no reason. Again, I opened 2 Deep Prison, which is strange. I just set my back row and pass, and he uses an end-phase Scrap Storm, which does something like destroys a card. No, it sends a card from his deck to his graveyard, then it destroys his card, and then Factory activates, so he gets to draw and then search, and it's like, wow, okay, just like all this plus, and I'm like, alright, cool. So he specials Scrap Golem. I can't remember what that thing does, but I let it go through. I feel like he's coming for a Synchro, so I'd rather save my bottomless for the Synchro. And yeah, so he specials out his beast, and he hits me, which I feel like I should have used the Deep Prison on one of them here, because I do have 2, and it's not a big deal. Especially if like that's a wiretap or something, then it's like kind of put me in a bit of a problem. So I bottomless his Scrap Twin Dragon. He decides to chain Scrap Storm, which is fair play. Probably a good move on his part. And I wish I could talk more here. Like, I really don't know what he's doing, to be honest with you. I'm just like, yeah, sure, effect, go for it. I don't have a response. Which is pretty cool about rogue decks like Spirits and Scrap, because like people just see you play and they're just like, oh, okay, what are you doing? Now, right now, I go into Nikitama Aratama, and this was maybe a mistake on my part. I feel like I should have started crashing with Firehand to get rid of his pluses, and I could have popped his face down, which I later find out is one of those things that can't be destroyed by battle. But anyway, I decided to go into Lavavel Chain, stack the BLS, and then I get to draw it because of Nikitama's effect. And then this is another misplay. I think like, oh, so Kagetagage is attached to Lavavel Chain. I can just banish it and my Nikitama to special on BLS. I'm like, wait a minute, I've just used my battle phase. So there's no point in doing that. So yeah, that was a boo-boo on my part. I definitely should have started crashing with Firehand. I got rid of that Scrap Factory because he's just plussing like hell now. And he's going to get me really low here, so I'm forced to deprison something here. And that's really bad when you're forced to use a card rather than, you know, using it intelligently. So I end up using it on Beast. I picked Beast just because the other guy's effect only works on Summon, whereas Beast does stuff in the grave. So I was like, okay, I might as well just, you know, use it on him. Probably a little too late, but this is where I start crashing, I think. Yeah, so Firehand's going to crash. And it gets deprisoned. So I'm like, okay. I think about wiretapping it, but I'm like, maybe he's saving something for the BLS. Like, why would you deprison hand, but like not the BLS? Like, surely the BLS is more deadly. So BLS ends up hitting a goddamn ice hand, and yeah, I guess that's why he wanted me to attack with the BLS, which is, you know, good move by him. Now he's got his fire hand out. He's got a huge life pool. He doesn't really care if he's going to be crashing. So I end up deprisoning him, so that was pretty cool. And I've got a set needle sealing in. I cited that in because I thought maybe, you know, Scraps like special summon a lot and like, you know, they swarm the field, I thought, but they kind of don't. They just sort of like summon a lot, but then synchro, so they don't actually have a lot of monsters on board. And of course, he just one-on-one's my guy, so I'm in a really bad spot here. I think I search out Nikitama with Aratama, and I'm just gonna overlay for Exciton, I think. Yep, I Exciton, blow up the field. The reason I went Exciton, I feel like maybe I should have went 101, but you know, I felt like I wanted to get rid of the Scrap Factory as well because it just kept plussing for him so much. So anyway, he chains Call the Haunted to 101, and like it does stuff for him. I don't know what. It's pretty much over here. Like next turn, he's just gonna like. I mean, he's gonna still have more cards than me, so I could use it in the battle phase. But all he has to do is like make an Xe or just anything really, and it's gonna like get over my guy. So he specials Scrap Goblin somehow. I don't know. Yeah, and then just Scrap Dragon. GG. Pops my Extant. I can't remember what I feel about with here. I'm not sure if I should have sided out the Breakthrough skill, so I put one back in for the needle sealing. Yeah, just really don't know what to side. Now that I think about it after playing for a bit, I think, okay, you know, maybe I should have like sided in my what's it called? Defisher perhaps? But anyway, I don't open too good here. I've kind of clogged with monsters. I have a fire hand, and that's going to pop his beast, and then I'm going to get a ice hand, and he's also going to get stuff from his beast because it was destroyed by an effect, I think, I'm not sure. Anyway, he just sets and passes, so what I do here is I just like start popping, and he torrentials, which is like fine with me, like that's totally cool, because now I get to, like, Ice Hand still technically gets to pop torrential because it's still in the field, so I still get the Fire Hand. I don't know, maybe he was expecting me not to know that, but I get Fire Hand out and I just attack directly and pass. As you can see, I'm using Creature Swap. It's actually really fun in Spirits, like, because the Spirits bounce to your hand on the end phase, so you can Creature Swap their boss monster with, like, a crappy little Spirit, and you just, like, it will come back to your hand in the end phase. Anyway, his Beast crashed into my fire hand, which is fair enough because, I mean, he just wants to get rid of it. And because I don't have a target, it means I can't special summon the ice hand. I was thinking I could have went Kage to Kage there, just for like more damage, but I feel like, you know, what's the point? I use my creature swap here just because like I don't want to hit a hand, and it turns out to be goddamn Summoner Monk. I think I overlay here, I'm not sure. I think I did a bad play here, I'm pretty sure. So I overlay my ice hand and his Summoner Monk into... Whoa, what do I go for? I go for Daigusto. I mean, it was cool to get pluses and stuff, but like, I don't know, I just felt like I could have done something a bit better there. I wanted Mikitama to stay on the field, so I didn't want to attack because of the end phase effect, so it would bounce to my hand. So it takes a while for him to send it to my hand, probably like thinking, like, what? Oh wow, that's crazy. I'm sure he was totally thinking that. Anyway, he uses like Scrapyard, which is sort of like a searcher for the deck, I think. And he just sets one. Again, for some reason, like I've just been playing so many hands on DN, I just always assume I'm playing against hands. So I pot here, and I cheat because I'm bad at pot duality. So I end up making Dweller here, which is kind of a bit of a dick move on me, but oh well. I have a wiretap set, so I blind MST just to get rid of one problem. I go Nikitama, special Kage to Kage, and then overlay, and it's like, wow, I just used pot, and he didn't notice, and I didn't know either. Like, I didn't realize until literally a turn later where I was like, wait a minute, did I just like pot? And anyway, I go Dweller again, thinking it's a hand, and it's like that annoying card that can be destroyed by battle. Like, I should have just went like Direwolf or something. Like, I saw him search it, but I didn't think he would just set it. Like, I don't know, I just assumed he would like keep his tuner in his hand to, you know, sink. So I can't do anything here. I just I go to set my black horn, but instead I choose to use Daigusto's effect first. And it gets me a draw, and that's what I draw pot, and then I realize, wait a minute, I've just drawn pot, so I look at my graveyard, wait a minute, I've already used pot, so I don't go to use it again, and I realize, oh yeah, I just kind of like soft cheated. But anyway, he gets another factory, and then he gets this Orthos guy, and I like double check if it's an inherent summon, because I'm really bad at like just finding out if a thing is inherent or not. It's not always easy to tell, but yeah, so they're both tuners, so at this point I don't bother dropping the max C, but I'm assuming he's going to synchro anyway. I decide to like keep the max C in my hand because, you know, I'd just rather wait for a synchro play. At this point I also detached the Dweller because a lot of these guys activate in the graveyard, and he was gonna get like a plus somehow, I think, if I didn't detach there, so I did that, and then I chained to Factory on, which got him a Golem, and then he's just going to be over my Dweller, and then yeah, so plus was okay. He decides to synchro. Oh no, he doesn't actually synchro anyway. And this is where the broken crap happens. Just the fire hands are just stupid. So I just start crashing and crashing and crashing. Like these cards are really just, I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't want to say they're broken, but they're really like something. But I have to burn through quite a lot of hands here to get rid of that, like all his annoying stuff. I think this is my second last crash. Yeah, so I crash again to pop the back row. I popped Factory first because that thing's annoying and I don't want it to keep plussing for him. Firehand pops that scrap thing that can't be destroyed by battle, because obviously that's a problem for me. Yeah, and then he like pops things with the Firehand, and I just attack directly and pass. Don't soft cheat this time with pot. I MST the new set because I have the wiretap for anything else that could be like, I don't even know what it is, like it's probably really pointless. It's probably nothing. And I just swing, swing, swing and kill off your game. So yeah, thanks for watching.